Welcome to Punky's World. I've been having some issues and I just want to talk for a minute. I don't know if it's depression, if it's grief, a combination of the two, or what it is. Because when I think of depression, I think of someone who's sad. I think of what I've seen my mother go through. Very sad, sitting in the dark, listening to sad music. And that's just not me. Even when I don't feel right, I want to do things. And I'm not feeling right emotionally. My therapist was let go from the program, which is fine. Because truthfully, I wasn't feeling it with her, you know? I didn't like her that much. And I got the distinct impression she didn't like me. She didn't have the care. You know what I mean? For me. She just was she was out of the, I don't know. Disconnected. And I didn't vibe with it at all, as the kids say today. And so I was not upset. And she did say I needed continued counseling. That's nice when you've said very few words to me over the time that we've been together. It's as if you don't want to be bothered by me. So nice of you to say I still need counseling. Well, yeah, I still need counseling because you were useless. All you did was eat up insurance time. So yes, I'm frustrated by that. I could have said something. I didn't want to hurt her. That's just who I am, you know? I'm going to go along and, and I shouldn't. But like I said, I didn't want to hurt her feelings or anger her. So I just didn't say anything. And I so desperately wanted to say, we're just not clicking. I'm not feeling it with you. But I didn't want to upset her. It's a terrible place to be that I put myself in emotionally. There we go. Dark. So I've been feeling I want I don't know. I'm going to talk to my doctor about it. And I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit. Did the Nintendo, which was fun. So I have 3 videos for today. I just wish that I could express it better. I wrote down to talk to my doctor. I want to share all my accomplishments with my mom, and I miss her hugs and that look of pride. But at the same time, I feel guilty because I don't want her back in the condition she was in. I know in my belief system that in heaven, she is healthy and whole and the lady I knew when I was a kid. That being said, if I wanted her back, that's what I would want. I wouldn't want what she was at the end of her life, the last 10 years of her life, the way that she suffered physically. And I know that she suffered in different ways her whole life. She suffered greatly from depression, abuse, PTSD. I know that. PTSD is something we share, something we both suffer from. And I didn't even know it because my counselor that came to my house is the one that diagnosed me. And I didn't even realize it because it wasn't told to me that he was treating me for PTSD. But it makes sense. My mother had it from her childhood. I had it from a combination of some abuse and severe bullying as a child. So, or I should say, have it. You don't cure it, you just make it manageable. And people today will say, oh God, that gave me PTSD, when you don't know what post-traumatic stress disorder is. It's an overstress response to trauma. And not a one-time thing. It's something that comes up. I remember when one of the sweetest little boys in the world was starting school. And because I have PTSD, which I did not understand at the time, I was crying. I don't want him to go through what I went through. And it just brought it all back. And that's what PTSD does. One of the things. Certain things trigger you to go back in that moment. You literally can be back in that moment for a minute. And it's a horrible place to be. But what I'm having trouble with right now is just, I think I would feel better if I could sit down and have a really good cry and say, Mom, I miss you. It hurts like hell. I always thought for some reason that losing my dad would be harder than losing my mom. Because I was close to my dad. I was always close to my mom too, but I had a different relationship with my dad. I don't have as many memories with my dad as I do with my mom. Everything I look at, everything I do is mom. From the Nintendo, and I talked about it in the video, and you'll see that. Mom. Not dad. Because my dad worked sometimes upwards of 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, plus another 5 hours on Saturdays. my mom was my person. She was the person I was with. And I never realized that all my memories were with my mom. Everything was tied up with mom. And I know my aunt said it in a negative way. It's your mom everything. Yeah, it is, Auntie. I'm sorry, but my memories are tied up with my mom. And they're always going to be. You're never going to separate me from my mom. That can't happen. With my dad, it was a little different. Like I said, he worked a zillion hours a week. If I had to guess, overall per week at the mill, I would say he put in 50, 60 hours sometimes. 50 was probably about average. If there was overtime to be had, he took it, because he wanted to take care of us. He was an old-fashioned guy who believed that the dad was the breadwinner, the mom was the caretaker, that kind of thing. And that's what he wanted. Bye, Bob. That's what he wanted. And to do that meant working a lot of hours, including half the day on Saturday and half the day on some Sundays. That was very rare. Very rare. And so if he didn't work on Saturday, he would make dinner on the stove. Like fresh pork shoulder and a bunch of veggies, or a pot roast with a bunch of veggies, something like that. And if he did, he would make that on Sunday instead. So, but my memories of my mom are so much stronger. And I guess that's why it's hard, because everywhere I turn, there she is. It's not that way with my dad. Do I miss my dad? Of course I miss my dad. But with my mom, everywhere I turn, I can't get away from her. Hold on one second, guys. I'm back. As I was saying, everywhere I look is my mom. From the TV we watched to the games that we played to genealogy. Even walking around town. I think of the times that me and Diane walked around town. Diane with a stroller, and all the times that her and I walked to the library and stuff. And everywhere is a memory of her. And that's hard. It's so hard. Sorry. I was just trying to figure out what I'm seeing. No, it's not that. What am I seeing back there? Oh, my plant. So yeah. That makes it hard. And I know if she were here in the condition that she was in, that I wouldn't be making all the accomplishments that I'm making and doing all the things that I'm doing. And it's just, it sucks. It makes me feel guilty. There's just a lot going on in my head. And I just wanted to talk to you about it. And I'm going to talk to my aide about it. And I'm going to talk to my doctor about it. Because I need to get back into counseling. They called me and said, you're going to have counseling. You're going to come here every week. No, I'm not. I'm not going to Sturbridge. Not traveling almost an hour every week. that I cannot travel. I mean, what did she do when she put me in for continued counseling? She screwed something up, which is not a surprise. And I can't be the only person that felt her disconnect. And her lack of care. I think that's probably why she got let go. In my opinion, is that there were complaints about her lack of connection and her lack of care. I just wasn't one of them. I just don't have the heart to do that, you know? But yeah. And I will tell my doctor that I do believe that that's why she was let go. So, thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow. We have some good stuff tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.